Cesar's Masi, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much for giving me this time to speak with my colleagues and further clarify just based on our previous discussion, Madam Chair. I'm going to move right now for the deletion of this item number 6 as I noted earlier, because it would give, for me, Madam Speaker, it will not penalize the parent who remarries from having to be a part of a custody issue that happened before the fact, and I just think it's important that not be included. So I move for the deletion of item number 6.
On the motion to delete, are there any objections?
No objection. Okay. Call for the vote, Madam Speaker.
So all in favor, please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? Yes, for the deletion. Those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion failed. We tried.
Madam Speaker, if I may, then I do have another amendment to proffer, and if I can just go ahead and state that, is to amend item number 6, and it would read, the court may take into account the benefits of a non-custodial parent derives from remarriage expense sharing or other sources towards allocation of self-support and other applicable costs.
On the amendment, no objections, so ordered.
Thank you. I will send it.
Here it is.
Same place.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to speak now on the main motion? If none, I'm going to call on the primary sponsor then to close. Okay, Senator Palacios.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there's nothing more to add. I admit we just had a crash lesson in child support guidelines and those things. I think we can be more now conscious and continue to advise our friends and colleagues and relatives out there. Like I said, we just got a crash lesson in child support issues. I, of course, ask for the support of my colleagues to pass this. It's an urgent measure. Time is of the essence. The retiring Judge B.J. Cruz noted that this should have been implemented maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
On the main motion then to send Bill 63 down to third reading, no objections, so ordered. I'd like to recognize Senator Taitagui on Bill number 69.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that Bill 69 COR be accepted by the body.
And you would like to speak on it?
Okay, yes. And I would also like to move that Bill 69 be placed in third reading file.
And you still want to speak?
Yes, I do.
So please proceed.
Just short and sweet, Madam Speaker. I know it's getting late here. So basically, Bill 69 is simply basic grade school civics. The Congress, through the Organic Act of Guam, gave the legislature the power of appropriation. It did not give the power to the courts, and it did not give the power to the governor. It gave it to the legislature. We should not have to entertain this bill, but we've seen several occasions where officials in our government have bound this legislature to appropriate money. We are not preventing settlements. All we are saying is that if it will cost the government of Guam money, we need to approve the expenditure for the future. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Taitigui. Are there any speakers on the motion? Senator Pangilinan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have an amendment that I want to offer, and it's being copied right now. I apologize for not copying it earlier.
Okay, are there any other? You want to take a brief recess then? Okay, we're going to.
Stop now. I told you not to give a time, just keep going. Maybe we can stop after 73. No, let's stop now. I need to go to the gym. I'm tired.
It's just not fair. We need to have those other senators come in here and earn their money too.
Can we just stop at 72? I vote to stop at 69. We didn't plan it that way. We put it after the child support guidelines. No, then you notice it's the It's the best form of
Mr. Pakaigwe, did you give the copy to the speaker? Senyor, untungan na kanay niya.
We're back in session. Senator Pangilinan, you're recognized on your amendment.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to rise in support of the bill, of course, but I also wanted to offer an amendment. And the amendment has been passed out, and basically to replace the first sentence, to add some language in there that is underlined in the amendment you have before you. And the change would result in that first sentence reading, no office, department, agency, institution, board, bureau, commission, council, authority, committee of the territorial government or branch of the government of Guam may enter into any consent decree, stipulated order, or other judgment agreement with any party seeking a claim against the government that requires the, and here's the new language, payment of cash, financing, or future financing, and then you would strike out the word legislative appropriation or authorization, because we don't want the promise to pay to get past the this language that of appropriation and so forth by the government of Guam without the approval of his legislatura or a specific appropriation for that claim. So we also don't want the governor to say, well, I didn't need an appropriation because it's a financing and I'm promising to pay. And it was just my contribution to try and add language here that strengthens this bill, because I truly support this bill. I thank the author for this. I was very, very happy that it was referred to my committee, and I was able to work on this and with her and get it out, because I think it can resolve. I'm confident, I'm hopeful that it will resolve in a policy that is not going to allow us to replicate the current controversy we're going through now, that every responsible party that enters into agreement that can bind this government into any kind of agreement and obligation is going to have to know that we're going to have to do it together, and that we're going to have to cooperate on it at the beginning and not at the end, and therefore propose this amendment and give my support to the bill.
On the amendment, are there any speakers? Any objections? No objections, so ordered. On the main motion, are there any other speakers? None. Then, so the motion to place Bill 69 LS to third reading file. No objections, so ordered. I am so. I would, I'll make an exception. I'll allow you to go ahead and have a few words, please.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Madam Speaker, and recognizing this is my first bill and the opportunity to close on this. I would just like to also move that every senator be placed as co-sponsor on this bill as well, and thank the support of those who previously signed onto it. And I know that all the senators' names will be on this bill, but I just want it to be recognized that I would like to have them on there by alphabetical order. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome.
Madam Speaker.
No objections to that motion. It will be right after whoever the last person who signed on, and it'll be in alphabetical order. So, no objections to order. Bill number 72, LS. I recognize Senator Palacios, the primary author of Bill 72. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill 72 on the third reading file for purpose of discussion.
Okay, please continue.
Third reading file. Madam Speaker, Bill 72 is just a minor amendment at the request of the current Chief Medical Examiner upon reviewing the current qualifications, which was established 13 years ago when the CME position was established by Public Law 1134. If you read the current statute and you read also the stricken sentences, that's how it reads. The Chief Medical Examiner shall be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States and a physician licensed in Guam who has had a minimum of 2 years postgraduate training in pathology. That is all with respect to the technical expertise requirement for that position. Now what I did is that I split this and I essentially created two paragraphs here. First, that the Chief Medical Examiner shall be named by the Commission, which is the current, retaining that, shall be named by the Commission to serve for such term and as such salary as may be fixed by the Commission, and so forth. Now that's not disturbed, but that has to be amendment so that I can take out the citizen or permanent resident. Then that's when I created a so-called another paragraph, which is a new one, 81101.1, setting the minimum qualifications. And again, I carry on. That's where I put back what I stricken from the first paragraph. The Chief Medical Examiner shall be a citizen or a permanent resident of the United States and a physician licensed to practice his profession in Guam. He must. And I'd like to offer an amendment here in my hand so that everything else would be deleted after that, after line 8. After the word he must, please insert the amendment that's been passed. He must have current certification in forensic pathology by the American Board of Pathology or its successors. And the reason that the inclusion of this would render not necessary or would not necessitate the ABC there is that before the certification is issued, that it has to be based on these qualifications anyway. And that is the advice of the current CME. So that would just, it's inclusive, I mean. Once you're certified, those things are already included. And the word or its successor, so then the rest of that would not be necessary for inclusion, and that's the amendment that I offer to this bill that's before us now.
On the Palacios amendment then, which is on page 2, Senator Pangilinan?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have no objection to the amendment, but I do want to point out while we're discussing that section that if you look at the qualification requirements or programs, that the requirements for a pathologist, that it actually references 2 organizations. One is the American Osteopathic Board of Pathology, and the other one is the American Board of Pathology. And that both these institutions pretty much have the same guidelines with regards to the training and the experience levels that a person needs or a doctor needs in order to be board certified in pathology and forensic pathology even. So I'm not sure, and I'm looking at this submittal by the medical examiner for basic standards for subspecialty training in forensic pathology. So absent any real reason why we wouldn't want someone who may also be certified by the American Osteopathic Board of Pathology, then perhaps we should add that certification body, to ensure that we're able to have the greatest pool of certified individuals that are in this subspecialty of pathology. So I would make the amendment that we would have current certification in forensic pathology by the American Board of Pathology and or the American Osteopathic Board of Pathology or their successors. And that would be my amendment.
On the Pangilinan amendment, are there any objections? No objections, so ordered. On the Palacios amendment, you still. Okay, on the yes, on the Palacios amendment,
My last
amendment
amendment,
that
of
has
course.
been amended.
I like to make a motion, of course, to include Senator Tinamunya Bonds as the second
Oh, wait,
co-sponsor.
let's finish your amendment first. No,
It's done.
we did the amendment to the amendment.
Oh.
So now on
Until it's settled.
just the Palacios amendment
Okay.
now, as amended. Are there any objections? No objections, so ordered. Now Senator Palacios on another amendment.
No, I move that the Senator Tinamunya Bonds be added on to the bill as the second sponsor.
No objections to that
Thank you, Madam
motion,
Speaker.
so ordered. On the motion, then on the main motion, is there anyone who'd like to speak? Senator Pangilinan, you recognize.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I guess the understanding that I have with regards to the need to do this is to update the qualification and the standards of what it would take in order to have somebody occupy this position by appointment in our island, so that we're ensured that we are, and assured that we're getting the skill and the certification necessary so that they can provide the support to our law enforcement agencies in terms of providing expert testimony, etc., determining cause of death for deaths that occur on our island as required by some of our statutes. I did want to say that that my intention here is not to raise salaries. I looked at the amendment, and Dr. Spinola said that the training and certifications will allow for an increase in salary, and if that person is certified, it must be certified from the Board of Pathology. That this is probably the highest paid position on the island already, and I want him to be certified, but not necessarily give him a raise. But if that's what it takes, that's what's going to have to occur, of course. The other concern that I have is the qualifications. The U.S. citizen or permanent resident. And the reason why I bring that up is that, as we know, this is a fairly exclusive club with regards to individuals that qualify for this position and have the requisite training and certifications that can occupy a position like this. And if we limit it to just those two entities, then we may have other individuals that are legally allowed to work in the United States that are not U.S. citizens and are not permanent resident aliens, but are legally allowed to work in the States through any kind of specialty visa. And the reason why I bring this up is that I actually knew someone who is actually a medical doctor, went to school in a foreign country, went to get his residency training in a U.S. hospital, graduated, was practicing, is not a U.S. citizen, is not a permanent resident alien, and was working in a community, and then he wanted to come to Guam because of the designation, for example, of Guam as an underserved area, that he actually got credit towards getting his permanent residency status by volunteering under the U.S. Public Health Service to come to Guam and work. But he's not a U.S. citizen and he's not a resident alien, a permanent resident alien, but he is legally allowed to work in the United States through that visa program. So perhaps, we might want to consider adding an amendment here with regards to hiring somebody who is outside of having a status for residency purposes and for citizenship purposes that is not a U.S. resident, a U.S. citizen, or is not a permanent resident alien. And I'm trying to think of the proper words to add that, and it would be something to the effect that shall be a citizen or a permanent resident alien, or whose legal status allows him to work in the United States, and a physician licensed to practice in Guam. So that these people who are under specialty visa, who are legally allowed to work in the United States, we have the ability to include them in our pool as long as they meet all the other qualifications. And so I would like to add that language after United States, or are legally allowed to work in the United States pursuant to U.S. immigration status, and a physician licensed to practice his profession on Guam.
Can you please make sure you get that in writing? I think everybody has
Yes.
the idea of what it is that you wanted. Are there any objections to that amendment? And Senator Pangilinan will submit it to legal counsel. No objection? I meant to the clerks, I'm sorry. So ordered. On the main motion then, are there any other speakers? So on the motion then to place Bill 72 LS to the third reading file without any objections, so ordered. Is there a motion to recess until tomorrow morning at 9? Okay, the legislature is going to be in recess this evening until tomorrow morning at not yet.
Madam Speaker, we just received word, I guess,
Yes.
that the AG's opinion on the bill that was passed by this body with
So,
regards to the...
We are now in brief remarks, okay?
Oh.
No, just joking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you to announce it, Madam Speaker.
No, please. I want you to announce it. So.
My understanding is that the AG's opinion on the bill that was passed and sent to the governor, Bill -12S, is consistent with the court order and the requirements with regards to the financing for the landfill.
Yes, thank you very much. Very good news. We're going to recess until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.